Hello, my name is Lena, and I'm a portrait artist. I'm recording on 23rd of May of 2024. I was born in Moscow and lived here for most of my life. But I started to do art when I moved to Mexico City in 2018, and I lived there for 3.5 years. So most of my art was inspired by Mexican culture and the way I perceived myself there. So I visited Mexico for the first time when I was 18 years old, and I just finished university studies in economics and foreign languages, and wanted to take some time off to think what I actually really want to do in life. I immediately fell in love with this country, and of course, with its art. It seemed that art was everywhere there, and it was a very important part of everyday life. So I felt an intense urge to start painting. I was quite good at my art classes as a child. I always wanted to do something artistic about my life. But at that time, when I was 18 years old, actually 18 years ago, I didn't take that painter's path. And I came back to Moscow and went to work for a big international company with an idea that I will go to study fashion design. Clothing was another thing that I always was passionate about. And I successfully finished the fashion design course. But since I was doing quite well at my job, I was afraid to start it all over in fashion. And all those things have been influenced me and my art a lot. That's why I'm telling all this story, because my art is actually about my path towards art. It's about self-exploration. It's about understanding what art actually is for me, how I see it, how I feel it, why I want to do it, and how I personally can contribute into this huge art universe. Talking about artists who influenced my work, I've been always amazed, of course, by traditional artists. There are lots of incredible Russian artists of all times. But personally, I remember quite a serious push to start painting portraits when I saw videos on Instagram of Alpa Efe. And I remember that moment very clearly, that I thought, oh, that's this is something that I don't know how to do. It seems like impossible, but I have to do it. And I was inspired by Laura Belspirovsky, the mastery that can be achieved by a self-taught artist. As for my focus right now, I'm looking for the cross point of what I want to create and bring to the world, and what people want to see and buy. The biggest challenge of being an artist for me is to keep the balance between the emotional and rational side. When I was working in commercial sphere, my rational part was dominant. And as an artist, it's on the contrary. So I'm trying to find the perfect ratio of both that would work for me. If I could talk to my younger self, I would totally recommend to care less about other people's opinions and focus more on my own self-expression. I usually paint with traditional mediums and materials like oil, sometimes acrylics, but recently I like to experiment with different materials that fit my concept, the concept of my work. Right now, I'm implementing glass, gesso applications, and some building materials. And yeah, I always listen to music when I paint, of course, when I walk, when I eat, sometimes even when I sleep. So, music plays a very important part of my life. The best reaction that somebody had to my work was actually the reaction of my ex-boyfriend. He seemed to genuinely like everything that I do. I think it's a very rare case, and of course, it's a great support. What I hope people take away from my artwork, well, I hope that they will always find something to take away from it, something that they search and really need at the moment. I once heard that art should create answers and solutions to the problems. So if I ever manage to create an artistic solution to some existential problem, I guess that would be more than enough. Thank you very much for inviting me to share my artistic vision. I'm always happy to connect with other creative souls, so feel free to join me in social media and learn more about my art.